The envoy had a legal team with him, 4 of them, tall, slate gray, with shoulder armor and document cases and the particular posture of beings who have won arguments by volume before, and expect to win this one the same way. They filed into the anteroom of Vault 17 at 10 past the second watch bell, which told me they'd been awake all night preparing, which told me they were nervous, which told me they already knew they were going to lose. I was sitting at the intake desk when they came through the pressure door. Pell was under the desk. She is a Beagle, 11 years old, tricolor, 10 inches at the shoulder. Her muzzle has gone the color of old ash. She was asleep when the delegation filed in, one ear folded the wrong way over her face, and she did not open her eyes. The lead Korath, gray-blue, wide-chested, with a ceremonial sash that probably cost marked more than my annual stipend, stopped 4 feet from the desk and looked down at her. Then he looked at me, then back at Pell. "This is the Guardian," he said. "The vault has several layers of security," I told him. "She's one of them." He made the sound that passes for a laugh among the Korath, a low, resonant click at the back of the throat. His legal staff made it too, in the way that subordinates always do when the principal laughs first. I pulled the intake log toward me and uncapped my pen. Old habit. The Order has kept ink logs since before the station went orbital. Some things you don't change. "You have an appointment," I said. "Korath Reclamation Delegation, 3rd tier. Here to present a claim of provenance over items in the restricted collection. Is that accurate?" The lead envoy unfolded a document the size of a dinner table. Pell's ear twitched. She did not open her eyes. The document was genuine. Give them that. 1700 years of Korath ecclesiastical law, correctly cited, the appropriate seal of the Reclamation Directorate, and a translation certificate from a neutral body. They claimed the 4 Karath tablets in our restricted collection were sacred instruments of the Korath High Communion, removed from the temple precinct at Thorfen Station during the collapse, and that their return was a matter of religious restoration and interstellar law. I read the whole thing. The delegation waited. Pell slept. When I finished, I set the document on the desk, smoothed the edge of it, and reached under the desk to scratch behind Pell's folded ear. She shifted slightly, didn't open her eyes. "The Karath tablets," I said, "cataloged into this vault's restricted collection in the year 3114 of the station calendar. 1712 years ago, give or take a quarter cycle. The intake record lists them as recovered artifacts of uncertain provenance from the Soren collapse, donated by the Orvith Salvage Concern under the Treaty of Returned Goods. They have been in this vault continuously since intake. Would you like to see the ink log?" The lead envoy did not want to see the ink log. He had his own documentation, he said. He had ecclesiastical authority. He had a claim that superseded salvage treaties under a provision of galactic reclamation law that I, as a lay guardian of a human archive, was not competent to assess. He was not wrong about that last part. I'm not a lawyer. I never claimed to be. "Then, you want to file a formal reclamation request with the station authority," I said. "Who will refer it to the Human Compact's Interstellar Acquisitions Panel, who will schedule a hearing, and who will require your delegation to remain in designated transit quarters until the process is complete. Estimated duration of first-tier review is 22 months. That was when he made the sound that was not a laugh. Something harder. He leaned forward and put both broad hands on the edge of my intake desk. And he told me that the Korath Reclamation Directorate had not come across 6 transit systems to be managed by a retired functionary and a sleeping hound, and that if the vault did not release the tablets voluntarily within the hour, the delegation had the authority to compel release under emergency ecclesiastical provision. That perhaps I should reconsider what sort of security I believed a Beagle represented. Pell opened one eye. She did it slowly, the way old dogs do when they've decided that whatever is happening nearby has officially crossed a threshold they'd previously been willing to ignore. The eye, brown, calm, slightly milky at the outer edge from age, moved to the lead envoy's hands on the desk, then up to his face. Then it stayed there. She did not growl. She did not move. She simply looked at him with the particular attention of an animal that has spent 11 years being paid to notice things other beings miss. I reached under the desk and pressed the secondary authorization pad. The vault systems do not announce themselves. There is no alarm, no klaxon, no theatrical light sequence. The status indicator on the panel behind me went from white to amber in complete silence. That was all. Korath legal team's equipment noticed before they did. The nearest aide made a sound and checked his scanner, and his face did what faces do when a scan returns something unexpected. He showed it to the second aide. They conferred. They showed it to the lead envoy. Pell had been working these corridors for 11 years. Vault 17 does not use electronic tripwires or motion sensors or proximity charges. It uses her. Certified alert profile is woven into the environmental monitoring grid. At intervals I am not at liberty to specify in detail. Every panel, every approach corridor, every case in the restricted collection carries her signature. When the secondary authorization activates and she is present and attending, the vault recognizes her attention as a live detection event. What the delegation's scanners were reading was that every artifact in the restricted collection, including the 4 Karath tablets, was currently in a detection-confirmed state, which meant, under the vault's operating charter, that any unauthorized physical approach to those cases would constitute a confirmed incursion event. Logged in real time to the station authority, the Human Compact Security Office, and 3 other addresses I am also not at liberty to specify. The tablets weren't undefended. They were the trigger. The lead envoy straightened up from the desk. He looked at me. He looked at Pell. She was still looking at him, chin now resting on the front edge of the desk, where it meets the floor. Both eyes open, tail moving very slightly at the tip in the slow, unbothered way it does when she is alert but not concerned. "You would not," he said. "The vault's charter doesn't require my participation after secondary authorization," I told him. "It runs on her." He looked at the Beagle for a long time. Pell yawned, wide, full, showing every tooth, as a threat. She never does anything as a threat. But because she had been asleep and was now awake, and that is what old dogs do when they transition between those two states, she blinked, settled her chin back on her paws, and watched him with the patient brown eyes of an animal that has nowhere else to be. He said something quietly in Korath that I didn't catch. The lead envoy said something back that I also didn't catch, but that had cadence of a question to which his answer is no. There was a brief discussion among all 4 of them, conducted in low tones, several glances at the scanner and several more at Pell. Then the lead envoy picked up his document from my desk, folded it, tucked it under his arm. "We will be pursuing the formal reclamation process," he said. "I'll log that," I said. "The station authority intake office opens at first bell. They'll want copies of everything you brought today." He left. His legal team filed out behind him. The pressure door sealed. Pell watched the door for 30 seconds. Then she lowered her chin back down onto the floor and closed her eyes. I logged the contact, noted the secondary authorization event, noted its deactivation, and clipped my pen back to the intake log. Then I reached under that desk and put my hand flat on the warm fur of her back, between her shoulders, and left it there. "Good girl," I said. She exhaled, the long, slow exhale of a dog returning to sleep, ear folded the wrong way again. I poured myself a cup of cold coffee from the flask on the side table and went back to watching the door. 22 months is a long time to make someone wait for an answer they already know. But we've been waiting longer than that on behalf of things people have tried to take before. The ink logs go back further than the Korath Reclamation Directorate's founding charter. We have entries from when this station was a refueling depot, from when the vault was a converted cargo bay, from before the compact had a flag. The Order has kept something in that room through 3 changes of government, 2 station restructurings, and 1 near-catastrophic pressure failure in the lower ring. Nobody took anything then either. I flipped to the next page in the intake log and wrote the date and the delegation's reference number and the outcome of the contact in the same even hand I've used for 11 years. Vault 17, no transfer. Formal process initiated by claimant. Pell has always been patient, so have I.